Hello everyone, my name is Joe and I review all of your favorite TV shows on this channel. Literally all of them. Go to my channel, search it up, look it up, and you'll see all of your favorite shows there, okay? The way that these intros get more insane with each passing day is just a reflection of how I'm getting more insane with each passing day. Welcome, or welcome back. With Last of Us, I will not break down the episode because this show is so goddamn well written that I have to talk about that. And I'm going to start with the first shot, which is the way that the last season ended. We see Joel lying to Ellie, and we see Ellie clocking him, and we see him see Ellie clocking him. Why am I saying Ellie? It's not Severance, Ellie. Sorry, you guys. Second language, English. I have to talk about this scene because I don't think they put it there just to remind us of how the last season ended. Like, we all know. We've been watching it. We've been rewatching it. We know. We know the story. They put it there to set the tone for the entire episode. Potentially the entire season, because this conflict between Ellie and Joel does not get resolved in episode 1. Very far from it. But let's dive deep into it. Because somehow these goddamn great writers managed to use the conflict between Joel and Ellie to tell the majority of the story and to kind of like seep it into the majority of the story of this episode. And one of the first things we see is that Joel is going to therapy. He's going to therapy because for some reason he's no longer hunting. At least he doesn't look like he's hunting, patrolling. And he is working in construction or like in town management, planning, whatever. And he's going to therapy because Ellie is mad at him 5 years later. By the way, Ellie is no longer 14, she's 19. 5 years have passed. And she's still mad at Joel. And of course, the therapist is like, yeah, your daughter is 19. Like, welcome to having a 19-year-old daughter. But at the same time, she tells him that she's not his daughter, which she is. She is. Let's not, I will break necks of anyone who says that Ellie is not his daughter. She is now, okay? She is now. After that episode where he called her baby girl, that's that's his baby. No discussion. That's his baby. And of course, it's normal that she's 19 and rebelling, but it has a cause. We all know why she's upset at Joel. We all know that she knows that he's lying. And this is going to be their conflict throughout the entire season, probably, right? It's Joel on his side saying that he saved Ellie because the psychologist confronts him and is like, what did you do? What did you do to her? Did you hurt her? And he said, and he's not admitting it. He's not admitting that he might have done something wrong because I don't think he was wrong in saving her. I think he was absolutely right because there's no way in hell 14-year-old Ellie should have volunteered herself to die, for the population of the world, which they weren't even certain was going to work. He was absolutely right in saving her, but he lied to her. And I understand why he did, but she knows he lied. She knows. So Joel is in his position of, I saved her, I did nothing wrong. But you did something wrong because you lied to her about it. And Ellie is in his position of, you don't need to protect me, because that's what he was doing. He was protecting her. And whenever they have the blowout, whenever they have the conversation about this, she's going to turn to him and be like, it wasn't your choice to make. I chose to go. I chose to do this. It was my choice. You shouldn't have done that. Which I disagree. And I mean, Ellie is also right in a way, but also, girl, you were 14. You had no idea what you were deciding to do anyway. So this is the state of the conflict, right? They're both right and they're both wrong and they just need to talk about it, which they probably won't do until a few episodes in the future. But this conflict sips into everything in the show and they find a way to tell so much story, to update us, the audience, on so much things by the way that these two characters are dealing with this goddamn conflict. And it starts with the fact that things between them aren't better, they're getting worse by the day. We see Joel adjusting to a normal life, hence going to therapy. He's not doing patrol for some reason, which I will discuss. I think I know why. And we even see him talking about the lady, about the town management. The refugee conversation was Jeff's giz. And then we see him going to therapy. which is a normal consequence of his conflict with Ellie, but also a normal consequence of the fact that he has a somewhat safe life in that community, where he has the opportunity to do something like that, because he isn't no longer in survival mode. And then, while he is in therapy, the show writers use it not only to develop that part of the story, which would have been enough if they'd done that in therapy, but they also use it to update us on what's been going on. One thing we find out is that a year ago, Joel had to kill the husband of the therapist. And because of this, she's angry at him and whatever, but she's angry at him because of how he did it. Not because he did it because he got bitten, so he had to be shot or killed or whatever. But she's mad at him because of how he did it. So this is a story we're probably going to get eventually. They're going to do a flashback or whatever and talk about this. But this might have been why Joel is no longer on patrol. This might have been why he stopped going on patrol, stopped hunting, stopped training, whatever, and is now working in town management. But at the same time, this also tells us that the town people are not entirely safe. I mean, the husband of the therapist was probably an older guy, so I wouldn't imagine that he was on patrol. So maybe it was an incident very close to the fence, outside the fence, or even inside the town, which just keeps in our mind, even if he was on patrol, it just keeps in our mind that they are not safe. Even though Joel is in a community stable enough to go to therapy and take up a construction job or town planning job, they are not that safe because they are still in danger for attacks in certain circumstances. And then we see more aspects, more events in the show that confirm this idea that the town is not entirely safe. And I mean, we know if there's like a small town functioning community in a post-apocalyptic zombie world, it won't last. Probably won't last. So I feel like they're giving us a lot of hints through storytelling mechanisms that make sense. Like they are using scenes for more than one purpose. And it just keeps us so engaged and it's so well done. I will break down one scene later on that I think is just perfect. A perfect example of this. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the way that they are telling the story. And the way that they are using this one conflict that was basically the cliffhanger of last season to explore all that has been going on for the past 5 years. Really well done. And then we also get somehow kind of world building within that community because Joel doesn't want anyone to know that he's going to therapy, which kind of signals to us that the taboo around therapists still exists in a dystopian zombie post-apocalyptic world. And more to this, when they are in the New Year's Eve party and we get the kiss scene, which I will talk about, we also see an homophobic asshole. Of course, it had to be a bar pass. Of course. So it kind of establishes a different kind of challenge within this town, which comes from community and social issues. The fact that people can still have a taboo about therapy and can still have a taboo about gay relationships. And the tension in the show and the sense of insecurity in the show and in this town is increased by every single one of these little tiny things that seem little now, but can increase the tension in the show overall and start piling up little problems that at some point, all of them together become a huge problem for the town, especially if they come to a point where they have to face an outside threat or something like that, which is coming, and I will talk about it. And listen, I don't know the story of the show, but it would be really interesting to me to see how all of these little things over time start to deteriorate the town and make it more vulnerable to an attack, either by people or by the infected. So do not spoil me. Do not spoil me in the comments. Come on, guys. I'm usually okay with spoilers, but I kind of want to enjoy this show. And I mean, all of these 10 minutes of video is just for me to say how much I'm enjoying the story and how they are writing the story. And the fact that they, as I mentioned before, they are using so many scenes to establish more than one point that will become relevant and to develop more than one plot in the story is so well done. It just keeps us glued to the screen and it makes the story feel a lot more profound. Not profound, like deep. Like it has like it has a lot of layers, like real life. And I want to mention the kiss scene at the New Year's Eve party, right? Because throughout the entirety of the episode, we have this tension between Ellie and her friend. And we see how her friend is like noticing that Ellie is very angry at Joel, and she's trying to become like a buffer where she spends time with Joel, just hanging out with him as if he's her dad. We see how she's very close to Ellie, and we see how Ellie wants to be even closer to her. And we see this entire tension, and we hear about her breaking up with her boyfriend and all this kind of stuff. They talk about who are you going to take to the New Year's Eve party, and them talking about going together as friends. And then we have Ellie admiring her in the dance floor as she dancing with some guy. And then we have her ex next to Ellie being like, oh, I don't think we'll be back together this time. And Ellie like, oh, why? Why could that be? Why? Oh, Ellie. That's what she said. Oh, Ellie. But yeah, this entire episode, there was this tension, there were these hints towards this idea that her friend also liked her, and then we have the confirmation of it, as the entire tension boils up to the point where they're dancing together and her friend reveals to her that she is interested in her, they kiss, it's really cute, we are all fawning over them. But then the scene doesn't end. It progresses to exposing another issue within the community, which is homophobic bar pass. The asshole that you are. You should have died on Gossip Girl. Bar pass. And it's interesting because it's a post-apocalyptic zombie world. Like, there are zombies outside trying to kill you, and you're really that interested what two 19-year-old girls are doing together? Like, get a life, bar pass. Get a life. But if there is one person like this, because this was a different community before, like, this community wasn't as healthy as it is now. Let's put it like that. But if it is one person like this, certainly there is more people like this, because he wouldn't speak if he was the only one, or if he didn't have any power or any freedom to say this kind of shit. And this could boil up to being a bigger issue because, as I will talk later, Ellie might bring another issue into the community. And if there's like one big issue and another few things piling up, the community might rile up against her. So in the same scene as the show does the closure for this tension between these two girls, it establishes a possible future problem with the homophobic people or other people in the community that might have certain issues with Ellie or Joel or whatever. And we even see in the very beginning when she's fighting, by the way, Ellie, baby girl, you're very mighty. You're very strong, but you are tiny. You are tiny. Like, he can't full punch you in the face because he will crush your skull in. You are tiny, girl. You are tiny. Like, you need to wear armor or something. But we see in that scene that she's like, yeah, I'm going because I'm part of the community. And they're kind of poking fun at her or like messing with her, being like, okay, if you're so part of the community, you want to help with chores. So there's already this sense that she isn't part of the community. There's already this sense of people like not liking certain aspects of her. And these things could easily pile up. And with one big thing that I will talk about, they could turn against her. So establishing the homophobic asshole right after this scene is just so well done. And then we have another plot that is addressed, which is Joel protecting her because he knocks him out. Well, doesn't knock him out. What do you say it? He knocks him to the floor, whatever. And baby girl is just upset at him and says, no, I can't protect myself from homophobic assholes. And it's like, baby girl, come on. He was helping you, but it's not about the homophobic asshole. It's about the issue that they have with Joel lying to Ellie about the fireflies. And so it just is another moment of tension throughout the entire episode that is addressed only indirectly, never addressed between the two of them. And then it is addressed there. She explodes at him and she says she doesn't need his protection, which is at the core of their issue. He was protecting her. She didn't want him to protect her from the fireflies. And that's where the problem started. So you see how in one scene that didn't even take that long, they addressed so much. They established so much. Like, the writing of this show is so goddamn well done and I enjoyed it profoundly. That's what I wanted to say about that scene. Now a quick tangent. I was dying, guys. I was dying for them to get together. They were just so cute. I'm going, like, my heart is going to constantly, I just know that this season, my heart is going to constantly be, like, breaking from Joel and Ellie interactions and then being mended from Ellie and her boo interactions. I just know. And see how I started talking about, like, the first scene about the conflict between Joel and Ellie, and I pretty much discussed the majority of the episode? Good writing. Now, I don't know if all my reviews are going to be like this, but potentially. Because I don't want to just break down the episode. I want to discuss it with you. And I want to tell you what I liked and what impressed me. And I want you guys to tell me in the comments what impressed you. And what you are expecting and what your theories are. I mean, you don't need to have theories because this is an adaptation. We know what's going to happen. I mean, I don't. Do not tell me. But you might know. But yeah, I very much feel like this first scene kind of establishes the tone or one of the major conflicts of the whole season. And I know that my heart is going to be broken. I know because I watched this, what's her name? Internet Mom Ash, reaction to the first season. And she said season 2 is going to be heartbreaking. So I'm expecting it. And then the second scene. I'm 20 minutes into this video and I'm talking about the second scene. Anyway, then the second scene, we see the grave of the fireflies. Guys, do not watch that film. I'm not joking. Don't watch Grave of the Fireflies. It's going to break your heart. It's one of those films that is so heartbreaking you can't even freaking cry. Do not watch it. I'm serious. No, watch it. Just watch it once and then cry and then never again. Anyway, second scene, Grave of the Fireflies, we see them burying their dead friends, we see that it's been a few days, and that one girl wants vengeance. And I mean, when she says we're going to kill him slowly, I was thinking, you better not. You better not. But we see them like plotting revenge from the very beginning, but then there is at least one logical person. And I mean, I wasn't expecting to take them 5 years, but it took them 5 years to find Joel. And they're doing it at a good time because it's New Year's Eve. We see the guards drinking. The guards at the gate are drinking. I'm expecting pain, guys. I'm expecting pain. But you know what? Joel has been out of commission for at least a year, if I'm correct in assuming that he stopped patrolling after he had to kill that man. Joel has been out of commission, so we're going to expect him to be out of form, right? We're going to expect him to find the fireflies, or the fireflies to find him, and he's going to be out of shape, out of form. They're going to get like a leg up on him. But I don't know. I mean, they're introducing them pretty early on in the season. When I saw that shot in the beginning of the episode, I thought, oh, this is going to be a threat that they're going to face at the end or midway through it. But they're already there. It's the end of the first episode. So I feel like it's going to be an initial threat. And if it's going to be an initial threat, I feel like it's more going to be a way to establish the fact that Joel is still a monster. Like, not in a bad way. Like he can defeat them. You know, I feel like they're going to go inside there. Do not spoil this for me, please. I feel like they're going to go inside there and try to attack him. And he's just going to take them all out. Well, he won't take them out. Maybe make them prisoners. But I think he will be okay. Do not kill this man. I will bawl my eyes out. And now about Ellie's bite. I mean, we had already seen that the infected were like evolving. They were mutating in the previous season, but this is a different kind of mutation, right? Baby girl, the infected, is thinking like baby girl Ellie. Like she's thinking like humans. She is, as Ellie said, planning, waiting, stalking, waiting for the best opportunity to attack. And I'm thinking, if Ellie was bitten by a mutation of the infection, will she be immune? Will she? I mean, she has to because she's the main character. She has to survive. Or maybe the story ends with her dying. I don't know. But I feel like this is what I was talking about, right? A lot of little issues piling up to make the community kind of not like her. And then if they find out that she has a bite And they don't know about the fact that she is immune, and maybe she isn't immune to this bite, or maybe she isn't yet, but she will become immune after, it passes through her system. But maybe before then, she'll become so sick that they will think she will turn. And with all the little issues, and then this big one, the community might turn against her, might, I don't know, cast her out or something. And if they cast her out, Joel is going with her, and her boo is going with her. And I don't know, I feel like that's coming. Because if Joel is going to somehow defeat and expel the fireflies from town, they could just lie outside and waiting for him. So if he gets expelled with Ellie because she got bitten and is going through it, they're going to be so vulnerable. I fear for our girl Ellie. Plus, the fireflies could still try to take her. I mean, what better revenge do they have against Joel than taking Ellie and getting into her brain? And there's another threat in town brewing in the goddamn pipes. And I mean, if the infected are getting so intelligent, they could definitely get there and not be seen. They could definitely just come very silently, feather footsteps, get in town, plan their attack. And I mean, if one of them can plan an attack by themselves, maybe they have a method of communicating with each other, of planning, of moving together, of planning a coordinated attack. So yeah, this is one of the questions I want answer to immediately. Is Ellie going to experience symptoms from this mutation of the infection? I don't think she will die, but I think she might look sick enough that they think she's turning, which will not be good for baby girl. And also, by the way that she just cut those bites together, ow, Ellie, why aren't you suffering? The amount of exposure to bullshit and violence that all these people have gone through has just changed them completely. And I mean, I think that's expected. I think it probably has been discussed a lot, but I was kind of a little shocked when I saw that little kid, the nephew of Joel, when he was like, we catch the monsters and we shoot the monsters, pew pew pew. I mean, yeah, but damn, kid, Jesus. It was kind of giving capital children playing with swords during the Hunger Games. It wasn't giving that. It was giving something completely different. But Jesus, you're a kid. Chill. Chill with a gun. And that's all I have for you today, guys. Let me know what you're thinking of The Last of Us. Well, the first episode, and check back here next week. I will be reviewing it every week because clearly I love this show, because who doesn't? And come back tomorrow for The Handmaid's Tale. I want to see Gilead burn, and I know I won't. I will at least dream of it. Bye.